Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Prayers by Queen Kunti, text number 26. Is there somebody who could repeat me after me? Devotees, anybody there?
Yes.
Then, thank you.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribir.
Janmaishwarya Stutastib Shribhir.
Edamana Madha Puman.
Edamana Madha Puman.
Naivarhati Abhidatum Vai.
Naivardhati Abhidhatum
Tvam
Vai.
Akinchana Gocharam.
Tvam Akinchana Gocharam.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. Purport. Being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family and possessing great wealth and education and attractive personal beauty. All materialistic men are mad after possessing all these material opulences, and this is known as the advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possessions. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly, O Govinda, O Krishna. It is said in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in the statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. Therefore, the four principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and attractive beauty, are all, so to speak, disqualifications for progress on the path of spiritual advancement. The material covering of the pure spirit soul is an external feature, as much as fever is an external feature of the unhealthy body. The general process is to decrease the degree of fever and not to aggravate it by maltreatment. Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced persons become materially impoverished. This is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign, as much as the falling of temperature is a good sign. The principle of life should be to decrease the degree of material intoxication, which leads one to be more and more illusioned about the aim of life. Grossly illusioned persons are quite unfit for entrance into the kingdom of God. Hare Krishna. Om Agnanatimarandasya Gnananjanasalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Datatri Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Dharini Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Padita Pavana Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. So going back to the verse, Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribir Edamana Madha Puman Naivar Hati Abhidathum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. So before we could dive into this particular shloka, I would like to thank all the wonderful Matajis who had glorified Kunti Maharani in the previous shlokas. And we'll just see briefly in text number 25 what Kunti Maharani prays. So in that, Kunti Maharani is saying, she's praying, oh Lord, let the calamities come to me again and again and again. So why is she praying for calamities to come again and again? Do we really want calamities? Not, right? But Kunti Maharani is praying. Why? Because she can have association of the Lord. She can see that the Lord is, she can take the shelter of the Lord. They can, pour love and affection to the Lord. If you see that Pandavas, when they were in the exile, they were always full of problems, but they were always feelingly praying to the God, so that they always had the association of the Lord, and they could, they showed the love and affection. Their love and affection for the Supreme Lord increased always. So similarly, when we take we take the darshan of Krishna, so we did not take the darshan of this material world again. We can, forever go back home, back to God, and have an eternal association with the Supreme Lord. So in this sloka, in 25, she is praying for, calamities to come. But however, we, at least in my case, I am not so courageous enough to ask Lord to give me, calamities again and again. But however, these calamities are actually an opportunity for us to come closer to Krishna, and we can, once the difficulties come to us, at least which comes on their own accord, we should be able to face them. How? Just by depending on the mercy of Krishna. So that's what Kunti Maharani is saying in this 25th shloka. Now coming to the 26th shloka, today's shloka, Kunti Maharani is saying what kind of people will not be able to get this mercy of the Lord. So this Kunti Maharani's prayers, actually, they constitute the most exciting and the devotional part of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Kunti Maharani being the mother of the Pandava, she is overwhelmed with gratitude for Krishna. So when the Kurukshetra war ended, and when Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of Uttara, and he was about to leave Hastinapur and going back to Dwarka, then Kunti Maharani comes to him, and she is, she's full overwhelmed with gratitude for Krishna. This is actually the context in which Kunti Maharani comes. When Uttara's baby was saved, she comes to Krishna and full of gratitude, she starts praying Krishna in various ways, glorifying Krishna in various ways. Actually, in Kunti Maharani's prayers, we not only see that she's thanking Krishna, we also see how she is, she has a great understanding that of Krishna Bhakti, and she knows very well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in this particular prayer, Maharani Kunti is teaching us what is the qualification to approach Krishna, who can effectively attain Krishna and who cannot attain him. So if we take the first line, Jan Aishwarya Shruta Shrivir. So Janma means high birth. High birth means born in a rich aristocratic family, great Kshatriya family, great Brahminical family. And next she said, Aishwarya. Aishwarya, as we all know, lot of wealth. Shruta Shruta means high education, and Shri being very beautiful. But she says these are all not qualifications to attain Krishna. So next she says Edamana Mada Puman. What is that? These four things, what do? They just increase our mada, intoxication. So people who are intoxicated with these things, they cannot approach Krishna. Puman means people. When people are intoxicated with these things, they cannot take shelter of Krishna. Naivarhatya vidatum vai. So she says, so people with these four things, they do not, na harhati, she's saying, they do not deserve to call out for Krishna because they are intoxicated. You know, they cannot, abhidatum vai. What does it mean? Feelingly. They cannot call out for Krishna feelingly. So, if somebody is chanting, now we are chanting every day, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So calling out the Lord's name is definitely purifying. But the same calling out, same chanting, you know, if it is done with lot of love, lot of action, affection and feeling and dependence in Krishna, you know, that is even more purifying, right? So people who are very much satisfied with wealth, the name, fame, prestige, beauty, right? Such people cannot feelingly address Lord, right? Kunti Maharani is saying. Oh, next, then who can approach Lord? Maharani Kunti is saying, Tvam akinchana gocharam. So he's saying, you know, you are easily approached by akinchanas. So who are these akinchanas? Who are materially exhausted. So you can say that poor people, for example, materially exhausted, right? So being highly educated or illiterate, being beautiful or ugly, or being rich or poor, these are all very external qualifications. Those who have this great material qualification, sometimes they become proud. You know, rich people, they look down upon poor. The beautiful people look down upon not so beautiful people. You know, more qualified people, they look down upon less qualified people, and etc. So sometimes who is puffed up with material qualifications, they cannot depend on the Lord. And again, so poverty is also not a qualification to attain Lord. You know, then sometimes people are only who are exhausted with all this material qualification. Only such kind of people can approach Lord, Kunti Maharani is saying. So sometimes who is more secure, well secured, you know, they feel they don't have they don't need the shelter of the Lord, you know, because they have everything. They feel they have everything. They have no knowledge that all this is come because of the mercy of the Lord. They don't have that knowledge. So they think they don't require, you know, to take the shelter of the Lord. They become very proud. But again, we should not feel that poverty is a qualification and richness is a disqualification. That is not the message what Kunti Maharani is saying. It is not that all poor people are pure devotees, all rich people are not devotees. That is not the message in Shloka. Kunti Maharani is very clearly saying, Edamana Madha Puman, Madha, proud, pride. When somebody is very proud and puffed up with all these qualifications, so they cannot feelingly address Krishna. So high beauty, wealth, education are all disqualification, are all not disqualification. Pride is the disqualification. One higher having possessions is not bad, but being possessive of all these possessions is bad, is what Kunti Maharani is saying. So there is one beautiful example, you know, Prabhupada gives in his lecture. So about this, you know, communist countries. In these communist countries, they go to these poor village people and they ask them to come and pray in the churches and ask Lord forgive them the daily bread. So these poor people, they go to the church and they say, oh Lord, give us our daily bread. And once they pray and they're out of the church, These communist people, they ask them, did you pray to Lord? They say, yes. Did you get your bread? They say, no. Then come here. Here have loads, trucks, loads of bread. We'll provide you all that. So these less intelligent people, they don't understand. They have no knowledge from where this bread is coming, right? These people, they think just because they converted the raw material into bread, they think they are the owners. They don't know who is the original owner, who is providing the raw materials like wheat, and wheat is grown on the land, who is stealing that, who is providing all this raw material? The Supreme Lord, and everything belongs to Krishna. So these poor people, less intelligent people, they don't understand that. And they just believe them. So these communists, because of lack of knowledge, they become so intoxicated and they think they are the owner of everything, while Krishna is the Supreme Personality. He's the owner of everything. So on the other hand, we have in the universal history, we have personalities like Parikshit Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Ambarish, Yudhishthir Maharaj, great personalities. It's not that they had just one bangla or one car. They used to, they had great empires and they had millions and millions of followers. And some of them even ruled some planets, but still they were all pure devotees of the Lord. They were not at all intoxicated. They were not proud of their wealth. So actually this wealth can induce pride in a person. It places a person in a position of intoxication. Actually in truth, we have to be free from that intoxication. This very modern civilization, Srila Prabhupada says, this very modern civilization aims at increasing this intoxication more and more and more, so that we go to hell. So the point is that we should not conclude that rich, beautiful people are necessarily proud. If they are humble, definitely Lord will accept them. Again, difficulties. We have a lot of difficulties, problems in life. Actually, these are all, a way in which, these are all through, if you have financial, if you have difficulties in love, that is one way of approaching Lord. We can actually feelingly address Lord. There is an example given here. One devotee is traveling in a flight. So suddenly there comes an announcement saying that there's a lot of turbulence and the flight is going to crash. Now this devotee takes up the chanting vein and he chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. And definitely this chanting is going to be with more of feeling. Why? Because there is a death threat. Threat is there. Okay. So these difficulties, like poverty, health issues, death threats, financial issues, there are all these external difficulties. This actually they act as impetus, to take shelter of Krishna. But however, pure devotees of Krishna, they are completely always dedicated to Krishna. They take shelter of Krishna, whether it is happiness or distress. There is no discrimination. So while our lives are with full of happy moments, there is no problems, so-called there is no problems, so we have no impetus to take shelter of Krishna. One becomes more and more dependent on Krishna when he faces the so-called problems in life. So that you can tell that if when we eat a chili and you take a gulab jamun, right, it is more relishing. Yeah, it is compared to that. So there is another example where Mother Earth is going to Krishna and she's praying to Krishna to save her from all the demoniac kings. And Krishna comes as avatars, different avatars, as Rama, Narsimha, comes as incarnations, and he relieves Mother Earth of all these problems. So here you can understand. So while praying to Vishnu or Krishna, Mother Earth is so attentive. She has great feelings and emotions, right? And in that, she is full of feelingly addressing the Lord. And because of that, in that reciprocation, the Lord comes to this planet and he relieves her of all the burden. That intensifies her love to the Supreme Lord. So great people, no, great people see all circumstances as God sent, and they try to become grateful to Lord, and they collect to Lord in all circumstances. So one more point here is, as one is progressing in life, yeah, and getting more and more facilities in life, like name, success, fame, etc., one need to be very, very careful, because it will lead to pride. It will lead to pride and finally fall down, because the very nature of matter is to distract us from devotion. So this material, Kunti Maharani says, this material education, that is beauty, opulence, having great potential, have this great potential to deviate us from devotional path. So we need to be very, very careful. So Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful example for this, how this great, all this Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri, how is it compared to? He says, all this intoxicated by material essence, they are actually no better than zero. He compares all this to zero. Why? Because they have no value. So the moment zero as such has no value. So now how to apply all this in the service of Krishna? So the moment one is added to zero, it has so much value. One then becomes 10, then we add one more zero, it becomes 100, then 1,000, 10,000, millions, and so on. So the more and more, if you add zero, it becomes valuable. Similarly, Prabhupada says that if you add Krishna to this, then it becomes extremely valuable. This one and the next zeros are, attaching everything, all this in the service of Krishna. So in this way, if everything is utilized in the service of Krishna, then one can be free from this intoxication of becoming pride, of becoming proud of one's possessions. Yeah. So I would like to summarize once again all the important points what Kunti Maharani is saying here. So one who is very intoxicated and proud of one's material qualifications cannot feelingly address the Lord. On the other hand, people who do not have so many material qualifications can easily approach Lord. But this does not mean that poor people are pure devotees and all rich people are not devotees. No. Then one should be free from pride. Having possessions is not bad, but being possessive of the possessions is bad. So with this, I would like to conclude the class. Gantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Kunti Maharani ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Patita Pavana Guru. Kindly forgive me for any of the mistakes done. On to you all for any clarifications or points. If you all can give me some other points. Thank you. Hare Krishna.